Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sound Test Room, where I'm going to do like an 80s special thing. Okay, so I live in the 80s. Joe tells me I live in the 80s. People make comments on the songs that I put up there. They sound like the 80s. So I don't think they do. I think they're high-tech and modern and right on the money. But no, they probably are right in the 80s. Okay, so I'm going to do four essential apps that you need to make your 80s style songs and tracks and projects and things. Okay, so the four apps are iPolysix, the DXI, Funkbox, and the Vogel CMI Pro. And I've made a little track with these in Cubasis, which I'll play in a little bit. And it's kind of 80s kind of feel thing, sort of thing. But first of all, yeah, iPolysix was a really great synth when it came out in the 80s. Nothing spectacular, but people liked it. People like the Korg stuff, you know. But it had that very distinctive sort of 80s sound as it would, sort of thing. So this is like one of the presets. Synth brass, it's pretty dry, but it has that kind of, if you push what they used to do in the 80s a lot when they used polybrass was push the modulation up so it would give vibrato, and then they drag the pitch down. I've got this midied up to a little Korg micro key. So you get sort of but pretty much anything it did will sound sort of 80s-ish. Anything from the that the all the controls work exactly as they did as well. Oh, that's sorry. That was because my library was open. Listen, it's bonfire night, November the 5th. So strings, nice 80s strings. So there's the first one. We'd be here all day. And the second one is DXI. Now, the DXI isn't a direct simulation of anything really, but it is kind of like the DX7. The DX7 was probably the most popular synth of all time. It sold a lot, you know, certainly used everywhere in the 80s. Now, this has been programmed to be itself, basically, but you could easily program a DX7. And it had that classic FM frequency modulated synth sound, which has become really, really popular and kind of overtook the analog feel, although that's kind of coming back now. And there's lots of presets that you get going with, and of course you can completely remake your patch. Lovely jubbly. classic frequency modulated. Also great for making kind of nice ambient textures now. So there you go, it's kind of a DX7, that's a DXI. The next one is the absolute granddaddy of all sequencers, samplers. This is the Fairlight CMI. This is the Fairlight CMI Pro version, but the less expensive version is the one that you would want if you wanted the absolute classic 80s sounds. Okay, so if we go into instrument here, and let's see, this I don't think we need, and then all voices, so locate all voices. This includes all the files from the original Fairlight CMI. And the thing was monstrously expensive. I mean, you can buy a house for what this cost. And there is there's a few at the end where it says CMI 2 discs here. There are a few of the extras that they put in, but you don't need this. And a lot of stuff was programmed now in the 80s with. So when you find the actual index here, we can. This is what it looked like originally when it was first brought out, and you can still program the app exactly the same way as you programmed the actual original Fairlight. So if you played the song, let's see, I'm doing this wrong, aren't I? So right. All done with the original samples as well. It needs to be programmed with one note at a time. This is a demo song, by the way, not something I've done. So there you go, guys. There's a basic idea of how that sounds if you were to use these sequences. But because this is audio bus compatible, we don't need to worry about that part of the. So let's go to old voices again. That part of the thing. Now, also this come with some absolute classic sounds. If we can find like the orchestra samples here, this orchestra 2. That's the really famous one that was used by loads and loads of people. Yeah, it's a very short release, so you have to mess around with the effects and stuff to make it sound good. And also, if we find here is I think is it Humans here, all the different choirs. Millions of these were used. So Trevor Horn. Excuse me. famously used that one. Can't remember now. It's maybe Art of Noise or Dr. Mabuse. There you go. Also, there's so many famous sounds in here. You can't really if I can't find them all the famous ones, but they're all in there. This absolute genius app that you need to, if you're really interested in getting anything that sounds 80s-ish, to do that. And of course, the other one is Funkbox, and Funkbox is its own app sort of thing. It's nothing. It's not really the 80s, but it does. What it does is it includes all these classic boxes, and I chose the Lin box for this because it has a lot of the other drum kits in there, some of them are from the 80s as well. This is one of the ones that kind of define the thing. Sorry, I should have locked the box there. See if I can find it with that. Okay. And that kind of, it was all sort of sampled, and there were samples would speed up and slow down and cause differences. It's very difficult to get this on an app or a piece of software, but this does a pretty good job. On a lock tempo, lock box. If you can jump around all you like, then all the difference. This is how I played it in a little song we'll hear in a sec. So classic Lin drum machine. And that classic 80s feel, you've heard it in like, everybody used it, Human League, Madonna, everybody used the Lin. Of course, in the played version, they used the SDS5, the thing that looked like diamonds, get that doosh, doosh, doosh sound, There's actually, I think that's in here and all, possibly. Somebody see, give you an idea before we move on. Drum machines, definitely in the DM1. Now this is basically covering just drum machines. In the DM1, there is a Simmons program as well, but it's another classic 80s kind of drum sound. Invisible Touch. Genesis used it quite a lot in their sort of early 80s singles, early mid 80s singles type of thing. And yeah, so that's that. So Funkbox. So what we had there, we had iPolysix, DXI, Funkbox, and the Vogel CMI Pro, which will give you the really close, accurate feel of the 80s, if that's the type of thing you want in your music. And then I used Cubasis. I've used Cubasis because Cubase was around in the 80s as well, only in its very basic form, and it was but it was good. It was really good. It was kind of the beginnings of computer music as well. But these things were even before that. So in this, I've constructed this little thing here. Maybe put a little bit of reverb in there, although I don't think I put too much in. So I had this audio track, which was it's all audio tracks. It was Funkbox, and then some Polysix, then a bit of CMI, another bit of CMI there, a bit of DX7, another bit of DX7, Polysix, and DXI, DX7 if you like, and some more DXI. So those 4 apps used quite a lot here. So what I'm going to do is just play the little track, and that'll be it really. You can hear how it sounds. I might need to adjust the volume a little bit, so hang on a sec. But anyway, here it is. All right, guys, there you go. I don't know what we could call it, but it is kind of 80s, right? It sits there quite nicely in the 80s, and the NAFO 16-track studio sessions you used to end up in, where it sounded terrible. But that was the kind of feel I was going for there, and it's dead easy with those apps because they're kind of just already there set up for you. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Bit of a blast into the past, with a bit of nostalgia with Doug. Um, it was good fun to do this because I love all that type of stuff. It was a real buzz, and I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe to the channel, and if you're feeling kind, make a donation at thesoundtestroom.com. We really appreciate all that stuff. It really helps us out. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you later.